Howdy folks, welcome back to Duke Fraser Productions. In today's video we're going to be taking a look at the 1849 pocket model. Stay tuned. Alright folks, so we got the 49 pocket model here, and this is a really neat little gun. It's a 31 caliber 5-shot. So this kind of goes back to Colt's days with the Patterson models, because if you look at the Patterson pistols, they had pocket models, they had belt size models, they had all kinds. And like the Pattersons, they were all 5-shot just as this one is. Now this one, when I got it straight out of the box, it did have some issues with it. It was very stiff on the action. I mean, it really ground when you cocked it, and it had a habit of over-rotating the cylinder when you cocked as well. And I took it apart and I did some polishing work on it, and of all the Uberti guns I've had, this one has been the most worked on at the factory. The bolt was already sloped down to line up with the cylinder like it should have been on the other models that I've had to work on. And the hand had been fitted to slide through the frame with ease. It had been filed on. But despite all that, it still had its problems. So we polished everything up, took it to the range here this morning, and it functioned almost flawlessly. There was one thing: it had some cap jams issues, and it wasn't the hammer pulling them back. Like a lot of times on these guns, the hammer is what causes the cap jam. That was not so much the case today. It wasn't pulling the caps off and dropping them in the action. What was actually happening with this is the caps were blowing back under the hammer. So when you'd fire a shot, and you'll get to see this in some footage here, you'd fire the shot, the hammer would be sitting like that, and what was happening is the gas was pushing that cap in between the hammer and the frame. There's two things that could cause this. The vent holes on the nipples are too big, or the mainspring is too weak, and I think it's probably a combination of both. The mainspring just does not have enough tension to keep that hammer down to prevent it from blowing back in. But we got through it. Everything fired fine, well, except for the few cap jams we had. And this gun, from what I've seen shooting it, is pretty accurate. Because when I was trying to figure out where I was hitting at, I aimed at the same spot for several shots, and it was hitting pretty close to the same spot every time. And like a typical Colt, this thing does shoot high. So we'll get done with the talking here, and we'll get out to the range and see what it can do. Alright, so we're out here with the pocket model Navy, and wipe the muzzle off here a little bit. I got something on there. But anyway, to load this thing up with, I'm going to start with 10 grain charge, and I've heard you can do 15 with these, but to be honest, this is the first time I've ever shot this one there, first time I've loaded it, so we're going to start out with 15 on it, and we'll just dump that amount into our little powder measure. I've also got a new little powder measure out here. It's a little pistol revolver powder measure. Then I'm going to dump a 323 diameter round ball on there. I had ordered some 315s because they said they were supposed to work in these guns, and I tell you what, they don't. That was a lie. But I happened to find some 323s online, and I heard several folks say that these do work, so I ordered some of them and thought I'd give them a try. I just loaded that in there. I'm going to see. We don't have a very good ring of lead, and I don't think it cut all the way around, but that's what we got. We're gonna have to use it. If we get a chain fire, oh well. Alright, so I've got it loaded up, and I loaded all of them this time around. I know I usually don't do that. I usually leave one empty, but being as I bought 100 balls, 100 divides by 5 better than anything. I'm just going to go ahead and load all 5 so I don't have some oddballs laying around. And I don't have any proper lubricated wads for this, so I'm just going to lube the chambers. I've got my homemade grease here, and this is messy. I hate loading it this way. I hate using this grease, but that's what we got today to do it. So the only nice thing I got to say about this grease, if I have a nice thing to say about it, is that this stuff does provide really good lubrication. I've used this on a couple other guns, and the guns will keep running all day long as you keep putting this stuff on there. There is no stopping them. They won't foul up, they'll keep running. But once this grease gets put into every nook and cranny on this gun, it is a mess. And normally where I could clean a gun that I'd use patches in with about 3 or 4 passes of a swab, this crap, I'll spend twice as long cleaning this damn stuff off of there. So, but don't have any 31 caliber wads, and to be honest, that small wads I think would be a pain to get and put in, but we'll do it this way. Alright, so I got her loaded up and greased. I'm going to cap it, and then we're going to pause for a few minutes so I can get the aim cam set up, and then we'll go over and see what we can shoot. I got to set some targets up too. Alright, so we got the 49 pocket model out here, and it's called a pocket model because it'll fit right in your pocket. I've got the aim cam up and running. I'm going to test out these new yellow lenses on this thing, see if I can hit any better. I doubt it, but I can tell you it makes things a lot brighter. I can see a little bit better than I usually do out here. Oh, there goes some doves. But anyway, we'll go ahead and we'll get started shooting here. We've got 5 shots. I did load this thing all the way up. 5 shots of 31. We're going to pause right there because I'm not awake yet and I forgot to put my earplugs in. I'll be right back. Alright, so got my earplugs in. I ain't awake yet this morning. And one thing I've also noticed is we did get a little bit of a cap jam. Seems like this mainspring on this one's kind of weak and it doesn't resist the blowback. And I don't know where that bullet hit either that I shot the first one, but we'll take another one here and see. Okay, it shot a little bit high. I did the typical Colt thing. That one blew back the cap way down deep in the action. It's going to be a cap jamming little son of a gun, I can tell you that right now. And it's all because of not so much that the hammer face sucking it, it's blowing it back in. Okay, I did hit that one. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a heck of a fireball that comes out the front of this. There again, it blew back. It's almost like it's blowing it back like there's not enough meat on the bottom of that hammer, and it's blowing it back underneath it. Oh, I was a little low that time. Now that cap stayed in place where it should. Warm son of a gun. Must have been right beside it. That cap stayed in place. That's the one thing I like about using the grease, and that's probably the only thing I like about using the grease on these, is that they don't gum up at all. So I'm going to go reload this and we'll try again. Alright, so we're loaded up a second time here. This time I upped the powder charge 15 grains, and you can easily get 15 grains in this gun. We're going to take 5 more shots here and see if we can hit anything this time. Definitely a little bit more power, and it's still blowing caps back down in the action. That one stayed put. And it's shooting consistently high. There we go. And this, these caps aren't being sucked off by the hammer face, like on some other cap jams I had. They're actually getting forced back under the hammer. There we go. Kind of starting to figure out where this is hitting at, and I tell you what, so far, from what I can see in the dirt there, is that it's hitting pretty accurate. It's hitting about the same spot every time. So we'll have to put this on paper someday, just to be sure. Maybe I'll do that if I've got some targets. I don't know if I put any in the Jeep this morning or not. But we got 4 birds left out there and some big pieces of others. So I'll load this up one more time and we'll see if we can kind of clean things up here. Alright, so we're loaded up a third time here with the pocket model. And again, our charge is 15 grains 3F Go X on a 323 round ball. And we're using just Remington number 10s. And we're going to fire this here one last time and see if we can clean up what birds we got left. We got 4 intact and 2 big partials that we can hit. Cap jam. And I was doing so good there too. And we got another cap trying to jam up here. Alright, there we go. Oh, and I had to miss one. Let's hope I hit it on this last one. Oh! Just went off to the side of it. So I got 3 out of 5. I was doing pretty good until I had that cap jam, then I had to go and miss the last one. But overall, I'm very pleased with this gun. So I think we're going to call that good for shooting that today. Alright, so as you can see, we did have some minor issues with cap jams with this gun. But all in all, it worked fine other than that. Now, this thing, when I finally figured out where it was shooting at, was doing pretty accurate. The last round that I fired on there, if I hadn't had that cap jam mess me up, I probably would have got everything that I aimed at when firing that. But then I got out of rhythm and I missed on the last 2 shots, not by much though. But so far, I really like this gun. It's been really nice, and we'll do some more tests with it, and we'll try to get out and do some accuracy with this as well. So if you've liked what you've seen on the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button down there below. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Patreon. You can find links to those in the description box below. And remember, stay tuned and keep your powder dry.